It was amazing to have the chance at winning back-to-back championships, but we fell short against the New York Giants, and they were the much better team in the Super Bowl. They have ended our run of dominance, a year after we defeated them in the Super Bowl. Will this rivalry continue into the 2031 season? I can't wait to find out. We just played them in the regular season, so I don't anticipate we'll meet up again in that part of the schedule. But if we can make another run at things, I would not be shocked to see the Giants there at the top once again. But welcome back, everybody, to the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise. I know it's been over a week now, and you're wondering, where are Chuck Johnson and the Jaguars? Was playing some MLB The Show, of course, got a new Miami Marlins franchise up, but this series is still not over. We're going to have some fun with this team, and after losing the Super Bowl as we head into another offseason today, we have to figure out what are the plans for a team that has been so good and wants to continue competing for Super Bowls. In that last Super Bowl, our offensive line was a big weakness as we were not 100%, and the Giants' defensive line simply overpowered us. We have a lot of key free agents today, a lot of cap space to potentially sign them, and some players who are getting older and perhaps their situations have changed. Devin Lloyd was once one of the faces of this defense, and he's now a serviceable starter perhaps at 78 overall, but no longer the game changer he once was. Josh Hines-Allen has of course been with us since the very beginning of the franchise. He is 34 years old and still playing like he's in his prime. After recording 11.5 sacks this last season, he barely regressed. But he is a free agent, so is Trayvon Walker, who is 5 years younger, and I know for sure I am not having Martin Cooper be a part-time player this next season. He is only 26 years old with superstar development and already signed to a large 4-year extension. And he was one of our most efficient pass rushers last year. He had 10 sacks. The numbers look good, not necessarily elite, until you factor in how much he actually plays. At 642 downs, that's basically a 60% player. Meaning if he played every down, he'd likely be more of a 15 to 18 sack guy and talked about as one of the best. Well, this year he is going to be a full-time player. I do not want to have him sitting behind anybody. So, could one of these pass rushers be on their way out? I also think that if we are going to make any meaningful upgrades to our offensive line, we have to be active in the trade market unless we get lucky in free agency and somebody happens to be available. But if we have to trade, that means giving up picks, players, and absorbing likely a very large cap hit. So with that being said, everybody, welcome back to the Jaguars franchise. Thank you for being here. What are we, like episode 40 now? Not bad for starting up this series just a handful of months ago. Before we can sign any players, though, we do need to fill our offensive coordinator position, as our previous is now a head coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we will be hiring Jamie Rodriguez, who has the Secure the Line skill tree, and that's going to help us develop this offensive line. We're going to boost the awareness for our offensive linemen. We'll go 2 levels on that. And then deciding between finesse and power when it comes to the blocking emphasis. I tend to go with power. I just think it ends up being the most useful across the board, especially for your 3 interior players that are more likely to have issues with power than anything else. I'm going to go with 1 into all of these abilities, all of these boosts, and save up until I can buy some strength there and help out with the Mauler ability. By the way, some big news going into free agency. Patrick Mahomes says, "I'm not coming back." And shockingly, he has not been franchise tagged by Kansas City. It looks like Mahomes is going to hit free agency. That is wild. But what are we going to do? Well, first, we're going to accept the 5th-year option for cornerback Ezra Telfer, who has been everything I wanted him to become. I think that our linebacker situation and the regression of Devin Lloyd has put us in a spot where we basically need Edgerrin Cooper to come back, or we're not going to have an impact player at linebacker. I think we might not like the deal by year 3 if this is what we do, but sometimes it's what you got to do to maintain your window. He accepts. It did feel like Sam Cosmi regressed a little bit last year, but he is still an 87 overall right guard. Looking for $15.5 million. I think we can handle this. And Cosmi is coming back. We also have a decision to make on Benji Cormier's 5th-year option. Do we want him for an extra year at $8.6 million? Looking at a lot of these running back salaries, I think that's a pretty efficient number for a mid-80s rated player. So I want to pick that up. And when it comes to pass rushers, Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen, these are 2 awesome players that have been staples of the franchise. And I'm going to offer Trayvon Walker a contract. He is so good against the run, a very versatile player, and still younger. I'm going to keep it a 1-year deal because 30 is the age that pass rushers in Madden begin to regress. And Walker is coming back. We're down to $76 million in available cap space, and Joey Harper is available. Harper did not have a very good Super Bowl. I'm not sure any tackle would have in that matchup, but Harper hasn't really met the expectations I've had in this series, and I am looking in a new direction. I am also going to let Sergio Baxter test free agency, as I want to keep our cap space and options available. Madden likes to treat every outside linebacker like a pass rusher, and those are some of the highest paid players in the game. So I like to move off-ball linebackers to inside linebacker when they're going to get new deals, as their contract demands are far more reasonable. With that being said, I'm still not wanting to bring back Devon Lewis. I'm happy with Chuck Dalton. I think he's the better player. We let Adonai Mitchell go. Rashad Good is going to become a free agent. Could potentially come back, though. Joe Wilder. I really like him, although this is a pretty premium deal for a depth tight end. I'm going to offer this deal, and we're going to keep him around for 3 years. I'm also offering a deal to Anton Harrison to at least be tackle depth. He's been here from the beginning and will continue to stick around. $6 million, we are able to bring back Brandon Aubrey. And then for less than 2, we bring back Logan Cook. And I think I'm done there. $56 million available. And then we can look at what we can do in free agency and the tackle trade market then. But these players are all hitting free agency now. And yes, unfortunately, that includes Josh Hines-Allen. His time as a Jaguar may be done. Who is out there this year? We do have some money to spend, and Patrick Mahomes is indeed available, seeking $57.5 million a year. But who else is out there? We have Tyler Linderbaum, and we have Jordan Mailata. That plays out so nicely for us, as I was assuming I'd have to think about trading for a tackle. But if Mailata is out there, I think we make a run at him and not have to give up picks or players to maybe get a Paris Johnson, who would be more of a long-term solution. But I'm thinking about next year's attempt at winning a Super Bowl, and Jordan Mailata would fit into that perfectly. If I were to try trading for Paris Johnson, who I thought about trading for when we were at the deadline last year, the Cardinals don't want to give us any potential trade packages, but it would be a lot, and we take on a $35 million cap hit in the process. That's why a lot of these veterans in real life are just pretty untradeable. But I'm going to make a very competitive offer here of $29 million to Mailata. And right now it looks like nobody else is offering. This is where Patrick Mahomes is really helping us out, because he is going to garner a lot of attention, a lot of available cap space. So if we're not looking at him, We have options that other teams just are not offering to. Like, the teams interested, it's showing next to nothing here. Now, what about Tyler Linderbaum, as the center market is not as heavy as the tackle market? So Linderbaum is more of a $17 million a year player, and we're absolutely making a run. As much as I like LaDainian Bigby, we know that Linderbaum is one of the best centers here in the game. And we're going to have to make a sizable deal here. And if we sign, both of these guys, we're probably going to have to create some space elsewhere, as we're only sitting on 8.7 right now if these go through. So there's really not much point in offering any other deal right now. We're focused on the meat and potatoes of this team this year, and the offensive line is the top priority. Both players have accepted deals, and both are now Jacksonville Jaguars. Jordan Mailata, Tyler Linderbaum help reshape this offensive line. It was an easy decision. I love the coaching staff. Man, everybody is a big Nate Bell fan. There was no other team I wanted to play for. That's why I signed here. And here's how I view the offensive line now with the return of Cosme and these two big additions. You'll notice I have Anton Harrison here and not Jelani Swain. That's not by accident. I am looking to move on from Swain. His ratings are really good, but the guy has given up, including postseason, more than 50 sacks in his career. I don't care how good his ratings are. They haven't helped him. Something is preventing him from giving adequate protection to Chuck Johnson, and I'm done dealing with it. With 1 year of cheap money left, I do say that it's reasonable for him to have some trade value. Not a second or first round pick, but I think that we should move him and see what we can do. We are also going to be restructuring the deal for Martin Cooper, and this is a relatively new contract, but I want the extra $6 million in cap space this year. If things really get tight, Chuck Johnson can free up 17, but this will all hurt us further down the road, where in 2032 we have fifth-year options kicking in. I just made Cooper's cap hit even greater, so I don't want to get too out of control here. With our scouting this year, I focused a lot on safety and a lot on tackle, two positions where we had free agents that I let walk. My plan going into the offseason today was to add a veteran tackle of a high caliber along with a rookie and move on from both Swain and Harper and start anew. So here is this year's tackle class, where a few of these players do come in with less than round one talent. But there are a lot of options. That should help us out, picking at 31 overall. Could A.J. Walton, a player projected at like the 35th ranked player, could he end up being a fit for us? With really good strength to go with exceptional movement and athleticism, if injury is a concern, but maybe a risk I'm willing to take on for the complete package here. How about Jamison Gatewood from South Carolina, the 48th ranked player in the class? Still a 21-year-old player. His strength is poor, though, and I worry about these poor strength tackles. Swain had lower strength. Maybe that's, something that factored into his struggles. Gatewood, though, excellent in pass pro. Can't deny that. So, is the strength really that concerning? He did have the worst bench press of the position group. So, I would anticipate 77 to 81 strength, which doesn't make me feel all that confident. I don't have as much data on the free safeties as I do the strong safeties. We have a lot of solid round one players here, and some of them should be available beyond the first round. I'm not too worried about plugging a gap here with another rookie, but we can also see who's available in free agency with what cap space is remaining. But I think a greater priority is to make sure we have depth along the defensive line and no other major holes, as I think having a rookie safety is manageable. I guess I missed that we had Devin Lloyd become a free agent. I was actually going to see if we could save any cap space by releasing him, But that's a couple veterans then that we're going to be moving on to in a new era. I think Dalton can play next to Cooper. He's still at normal development, but at least has a 3-down skill set that he can still improve. What about wide receiver 3? Dontavian Wicks is still available at about $4 million a year. I think this spot is one for us to come in with a lower offer and see if he returns. Oh, we see that Sergio Baxter has signed away, so he is going to be now with the Los Angeles Chargers on a 3-year, $29.5 million contract. I thought he had really come into his own over the course of his rookie contract with us. He was a fun player. Again, going to throw a light offer at pass rusher Rashad Good, see if he wants to come back. And then here's a player that I have not seen before in the franchise, but we're going to go after Joel Jordan, a safety, at 6'2", 205. Do we have any luck here on the low ball offers? No decisions made there, and they all stay in the free agency market. Wow, Patrick Mahomes is still unsigned. We have the 2 biggest signings so far of free agency. It's kind of moving a little slowly, but I do love Chris Jenkins Jr. going to Carolina. That's where his dad played, so sometimes this game just gets it right. Yo, you can't be serious. The Chiefs signed Jalen Hurts. Quinnen Williams, he's going to the Eagles. Man, that's a terrifying thought. Don't let Howie get any ideas. Oh, Joey Harper, he does end up getting a 2-year deal going to Carolina. Adonai Mitchell is going along with him. So, Mahomes' watch continues. Where is Patrick Mahomes going to wind up this year? Yeah, and Rashad Good, yeah, we're not going to be getting him. The Steelers are in it now, so we are out. How about Brandon Caldwell then? He's coming off a career season where he had 3 sacks on only 521 downs played, which is relatively a lot of playing time. Our free agent depth might not be as exciting as it once was in the series. And we have signed safety Joel Jordan, hopefully to be a backup. And we also bring in Brandon Caldwell. Dontavian Wicks still holding out. Oh no, that's what's happened? Y'all had Brady for 2 decades, and now you're going to get a late career Patrick Mahomes. This is messed up, bro. Drake May is now Patrick Mahomes' backup. And how about that? Josh Hines-Allen officially becomes a top 5 edge rusher in Falcons history. It depends how much that 1 year of Vic Beasley really affected you and your memory of guys like John Abraham. But we're going to shift to draft mode now. We got to talk about how we attack the rest of the safety position, perhaps the tackle class as well. Wow, will the Bears actually go running back at 1? This is strange. Pass rusher, guy that blocks a pass rusher. Another pass rusher, run stopper. Wide receiver at 9. More receivers here. It's a better class than some of the recent ones, that's for sure. They should be flying off the board this year. So, we pick at 31, of course. They have us going safety Robert Marrow. But A.J. Walton projected to go a little bit earlier than us. Drew Callaway earlier than us. Andy Brackett. Some of these guys don't have first-round talent, so that's okay by me. We have traded Jelani Swain to the Chicago Bears. I am taking their early 3rd-round pick. The Bears didn't have a left tackle. And I don't mean they actually just have a bad left tackle. I meant they didn't have one prior. They're picking at number 1. They lacked a tackle. I'm giving them a chance to have a 26-year-old, 84 overall, to see if he can turn his career around there. Maybe it's even too much for them to give up if you're to do some real-life conversion math to it. But you know what? He's got 1 cheap year on his deal. They're probably going to be able to re-sign him. A 3rd-round pick is probably good for their situation. A Pro Bowler? Are you kidding me? Could I have gotten more if I wanted to treat this like competitive Madden? Probably. But, yeah, you probably know by now. So, we have an extra 3rd-round pick, an extra top 100. I chose our 3 focus players. Let's see how I did. I wanted more information on Jacoby Starling, and he's going to have day 3 talent. I saw he was an athletic 6'5" receiver with really good spec catch, but he is extremely unpolished as a wide receiver. Then I scouted Joey Snell, and I'm looking for a potential long-term center, maybe someone that can be on the roster and develop. And I do think Snell is a pretty good option, despite the F injury and not being a first-round talent. And then I scouted James Green at linebacker. He's going to have round 2 to 3 talent, really good in coverage, and just an elite-level athlete. Ran 4.41 at the Pro Day. And he's someone to just keep in mind there in the second or so round. So, of course, tackle is going to be the top priority and where this class is set up well. We could also use a wide receiver 3, a starting safety, of course, and a starting caliber linebacker. But not a 3-down guy. I think we have those guys. And then depth. When we're in this situation, a lot of expensive players, an expensive quarterback in Chuck Johnson, we've got to be drafting good depth, or injuries are absolutely going to sink us. So let's begin, everybody. Another draft in the Jaguars franchise. Will they actually do it? Will the Chicago Bears take a running back at number 1 overall like it's 1972? Marquez Walton from Wisconsin has excellent vision. Not top flight speed, but definitely fast enough. With elite strength, he had 33 bench reps, a break tackle, a vision, an old school power back. Could he go number 1 to a old school franchise? The Chicago Bears will select Marquez Walton, a running back at number 1. While we wait 30 more selections for our turn. Now, when I gave up a second-round pick in last year's draft, apparently it was a second-rounder next year, actually. So I have all of our picks plus an extra third this year. So I think we have a little bit of trade-up ammunition, but I don't think it's as easy to consolidate now when we could really use the depth. I think the ideal situation is we still make 3 picks in the top 100 and at least 1 in the first round and 1 in the second round. Already the mock draft is busted as the Falcons were meant to take a tackle in Noah Carey. They go with a wide receiver instead. Carey then falls to 10 going to the Steelers. It's a quarterback to Denver and Glenn McAllister. The Texans take Lucas Copeland. Kevin Lewis, wow, he goes 6 picks ahead of projection to New England, protecting Patrick Mahomes. Ralph Walton goes at 21 as expected. Drew Callaway goes a few picks early, but he was expected to go ahead of us. Saints still take a tackle in Andy Brackett. And a tackle goes to Cleveland at 26, A.J. Walton. We still have Jamison Gatewood available. He is not projected to go in round 1, but it looks like he is the last in this tackle group. And I mean the last. There is not like a second or third round talent after him. He's it. And I do have to worry a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens, who were projected to go tackle, and their option was just taken. Number 95 can't even get me up 4 spots right now, so I'm not trading with Seattle. I think they're trying to price gouge me a little bit. Seattle's going to take a safety. We are moving up with the Kansas City Chiefs, giving up number 95 so that nothing can happen at 29 with how thin the options are remaining. We need this for a starting caliber player. Maybe he wouldn't have gone anyway, but why take the chance here? I already identified that I like Jamison Gatewood. I was just worried about the strength. And despite that, I'm going to make him our first round pick and hope that our coach can help make him a little bit stronger. So when we get more skill points or more coach points, we can upgrade that strength boost. And he certainly needs it. So he's going to get an offensive coordinator that can help out some of his weaknesses, and he's a great pass protector. And hey, if he can allow less than 50 sacks in 3 years, it's an upgrade over Jelani Swain. Jamison Gatewood has joined the Jaguars. He played college basketball for 2 years. They're already trying to set up future content. Highly intelligent blocker. Shows good pass protection technique. I'm almost certain he's going to have normal dev. Hidden development with 80 strength. Okay. And he went to South Carolina, just like the man he's going to be protecting in Chuck Johnson. Jamison Gatewood is here. The gate will remain closed around Chuck Johnson. I can't wait for this new offensive line. It has now taken shape. 3 new starters, and Chuck Johnson cannot be happier about the unfolding of this offseason. Man, I just got lucky. I got a hidden dev tackle there, the last one remaining. I mean, he was like the 10th tackle selected. I forgot to even count how many there were. I'm a little worried here about Seattle, who has one of their top needs at safety, and that is my next target. I just moved up for a 5th round pick. Wow, I didn't think that would work. But I now get to select a safety that I'm excited to pair with Mike Goodson. We are going to be selecting out of UCF, Bryce Weaver, a hybrid safety, 5'11", 222. So similar body type to Mike Goodson, shorter but heavy safety with great movement skills and a hybrid skill set. Love that he has the B finesse move, the B hit power. These could be 2 interchangeable safeties that play really well together. And Roger Goodell is going to introduce us to him. Is he in the green room? Did we just get a steal? He might not be coming out for a jersey here, but Nate Bell is stoked to add a DB. And there he is. Bryce Weaver is a Jacksonville Jaguar. A smart, reliable zone defender. He's not a burner, but he has decent speed. And he shows good instincts. Bryce Weaver. Oh, come on. Hidden development. And you're telling me not a burner, but decent speed? Sneaky fast? Bryce Weaver with 92 speed? You know, I'm basically taking who's left at these positions, and they're giving me intriguing hidden dev rookies that are going to immediately become starters. And look who picks here atop the 3rd round. This was the Jelani Swain gift from Chicago. I don't have any talent grades available, so what can I make happen here? I do see that Gregory Rossum is on my board. It might be because of a story. Yeah, he is the 20-year-old cornerback. It wasn't a story. He just caught my attention as a very young prospect. F injury, not a position in need, but extremely intriguing. Gregory Rossum. Do we think he could play any wide receiver? 6'3", 186. You know, if there isn't anybody else here, he might be one of the best options for us. My focus players, I believe, are all gone. Yeah. Those were going to be earlier second round players in most cases. We could use a wide receiver 3. We could also use some pass rusher depth. Jaden Johns from Northwestern, 6'5", 270. I like big edge rushers that can move well. I saw Preston Smith enter the draft, and I'm like, yeah, that's my type of edge rusher. Jaden Johns. B finesse, C block shed, C power. This is probably a really good, like, number 3, number 4 pass rusher. 113 on the board, and we're in the 90s right now, so he could go sometime in the 3rd round, given who's on the board right now. Maybe project the 4th, where we pick later. So might have to move up in that case. Another option here is Will Leak from Tennessee. He is a very good, I think, plug-and-play run defender, and we do need a starter at that spot, and I think he's a starting caliber player. You know what, guys? This call's coming from upstairs. Nate Bell has made the call. and he says, "Go get the corner. Gregory Rossum is the pick." You can't have enough cornerbacks, says Nate Bell. He already got a safety in this class, a hybrid, which means basically he can play corner. And now he's going to get a cornerback, number 5 in true value. Elite speed, constantly in receiver's hip pocket. Part of me still wonders, is he a hidden, or not hidden dev player, but a wide receiver? Normal development. Okay, I did think I would get hidden dev here. But 95 speed, 91 acceleration, and now Curiosity is going to have to check out if he is a two-way player. I don't know. He's a 20-year-old prospect. Those don't show up often. Neither do two-way players, so who knows. I saw, though, he had A-man and B-zone coverage, and that is a skill set that is typically only available in the top 5 picks. So realistically for us, this would give us an option if, say, you know, Stanley Billup's contract is coming up and we're like, you know, money's getting tight over here. We paid JD. Telfer's making big money. We can't do it 3 times. But if we have a young guy like we just drafted, then we can handle that nicely. And, you know, it's Nate Bell as our coach. I had to do it. BPA, our coach was a cornerback. We don't have a lot of needs because we filled them. It just made too much sense. Will Leak goes the next pick. I don't know if I'll regret that, but a run-stopping linebacker probably won't hurt me too bad. And Jaden Johns just went at 104. I actually tried to trade up at that exact spot and didn't want to give up what it would take there to move up 24 spots. But if Johns goes there, probably means he was a solid player. We do need some more receiver depth, and I'm at least intrigued with Jacoby Starling's combination of size. His short route running is a C, deep route running is a C, and he has spec catch. So, what? What do you mean? Your staff has selected a player to draft for you? No. I paused it. What do you mean the clock has expired? There has not been a pick made for me. No, I gave the last pick to Nate Bell. What are you doing? 1:30 on the clock. I hit resume. You can't be serious right now. I backed out of franchise mode. We're going back in. Do I get to make my own selection here? Is that really too much to ask for? It worked this time. It worked. That's an A. It changed to a C-. Why is the game messing with me right now? Jacoby Starling is picked up. Does he have NFL speed? Highlight reel catches are the norm. All-star contested catchability. Now I'm just reminded that I was a big Hakeem Butler guy, and that didn't really work out. I might have just drafted Hakeem Butler. Jacoby Starling, though, 90 speed, Arizona State. No, Hakeem Butler went to Iowa State. Similar uniforms, kind of. My next pick here in the 6th round is going to be linebacker Scott Grant. I'm still hoping I can find a plug-and-play starter. Why is this happening? Got it to work this time, and it is a good value pick. Felt like with the C awareness, he was better than a 6th round player. Needs more time in film room. Well, he's going to get plenty of that. 82 speed, 71 strength. We'll see if he can mix in with a little playing time here as a rookie. Linebacker's now not as deep as it once was. And my final pick is going to be FSU's Bradley Samuels. This is the second to last pick of the draft. And he has B power moves, B block shed, and C awareness. So I know I could do and have done worse. This is going to be a D+, 341 in true value. How? Instincts will need to make up for lack of speed, but he's a former high school power forward, so at least we're 2/5 of the way to a basketball team in this draft. Good luck, Bradley Samuels. And that concludes our draft this year. How did we do? Well, in the first round, we took a 73, followed it up with a 73, and then a 77 in round 3. Let's start off here with Gregory Rossum. I like that he has the long sleeves there, number 25. Only 20 years old, and he has starting caliber skills, that is for sure. 60 catching, 74 injury, 70 awareness. With 60 catching, I don't think he would be a two-way player, but I have to at least humor myself by checking the route running. And yeah, I think that dream is one I have to give up on. But it's still a fun pick, and it means that if we have an injury at cornerback, we are more prepared than anybody in the league. But the goal of this offseason was to rebuild the offensive line and right the wrongs of last year. We managed to get a 73 overall tackle and didn't have to give up much to get him. 80 strength is a concern, and he's not going to be great in the running game. But he does have good pass protection. He does have hidden development. And I think with our coaching staff and being able to develop our OC, we can shore up some of his weaknesses. And his awareness is already like elite for an early day one starting tackle. So hopefully we can get what we need from our offensive line this year. I think I made the right kind of moves for us. But then we go and get Bryce Weaver, the safety, and now we're going to have a rookie safety and second-year safety starting. Weaver has excellent speed, solid coverage across the board, and I think he'll have a chance at developing into a really good player. So here's Jacoby Starling then. I could have gone in some different directions. He's taken number 10, previously owned by Eli Arrington. And Starling, I think, is a really solid receiver to have develop now. We are in need of a wide receiver 3, so he can compete with Reuben Ross for that role. But he has broken tackle skills. He can juke. He has 91 jumping, good spec catch. I mean, hard to do better in round 4. And then we probably don't want Scott Grant starting as a rookie, but he could fill in and possibly start maybe in a couple of years if we need him to. But he has the skills for that role I was searching for. And then Bradley Samuels, I thought I had a pretty good gem here, but athletically only 74 agility, 80 speed, that's not terrible. Maybe they're being a little too hard on Bradley. Maybe he can still make it. But we saw a running back go round 1, and there were multiple 80 overall players taken in this draft. Marquez Walton was not one of them, but he is a hidden dev running back that now makes his way to the Windy City. Does have some limitations in his game, but probably won't think too much about those as he develops. It also makes me want to remember that Kansas City had that Heisman-winning running back who was all power. Whatever happened to him? Denzel Black now has star development. He did have hidden, and he is 2 years into his career. Broken tackle is excellent, good vision, trucking, 83 speed. And he has put together a 938-yard season, but he's not very efficient. And the longest run in his career is only 10 yards. At number 2, Tennessee took Matthew Perry, 81 overall defensive end. Paired with Glenn Thomas, is it? They have 2 very young, high upside edge rushers. I mean, 90 finesse on day 1 with freaky athleticism, 88 speed, 86 acceleration. That is frightening. They got a blue chip talent. But then Alex Palmer goes to the Jets, an 83 overall guard from USC. So he is the Quentin Nelson of this class. They don't show up very often. I mean, he's about as good as most guards can develop into. 98 strength, are you kidding me? With that pass protection? Not too bad, but we see there were some steals in this draft. We got one of them in Gregory Rossum. Deacon Ellison to the Texans is a 76 overall tight end. But how about round 4? The Eagles and wide receiver Jimmy Stewart. Normal dev, yeah, but undeniable athleticism with good short route running. Definitely would have been a good option for our wide receiver 3 spot that we are trying to get solidified. So in round 1, we picked last, but Joey Sheldon was the worst pick of this round. He went to the Ravens at 29, and he's a 64 overall. But he has 99 speed with hidden development. Okay, so is he a bust or does he have potential? Leave your thoughts down below. I lean towards potential. On a user team that would play him anyway, he's probably not going to get playing time there in Baltimore. But we ended up selecting pretty late in the round and still came away with an above average pick for where we selected. 73 overall is lower in the first round, but we were supposed to take somebody in that range. Round 2 then, Miguel Matias went at number 1, or number 17. He is rated 75, Cedric Wilcox and Robert Marrow. Man, a really good safety class. Best 3 players in the round were all safeties. Mitch Gross, 64 overall. He was the lowest rated pick of this round. Again, we selected very late, but came away with one of the 10 best overall players in the round. So that is a win. Round 3 then, we take the steal at the first spot. We couldn't have done better than that. So I did have interest in Jaden Johns as a rotational pass rusher, 68 overall, and I do like the skills. His weaknesses are very weak, however, but we can find other rotational edge rushers. It was just nice to think about getting one there in the middle of the rounds, but to come away with Rossum instead, I don't think we can have too much negative to say about the decision there by Nate Bell. Matt Jackson is the number 99 ranked corner in the league, but he is currently our number 5 because of how much depth we have. He would apparently be the best cornerback on the Buffalo Bills. Come on, man. I mean, how bad do these guys have to look in practice? They have 4 receivers, all higher rated than any one of their corners. Their defense doesn't stop a thing. So you know what? I have some interest in one of their backup edge rushers who picked up a couple sacks last season. Former 3rd round pick. This is Ed Middleton. And we have made a trade. So we get a backup pass rusher then with a couple of years on his contract. And the Buffalo Bills, I mean, they just traded a backup edge rusher for a number 1 cornerback. Good for them. That is absolutely bizarre. What are they doing? We are going to sign to be our backup quarterback, Sam Howell. I really thought he might have a chance at working out as a starter, but how about being a long-term backup? That's a good job. Oh man, Nico Collins is a 78? I know what he's done to us in this series. That is quite surprising. Jerry Jeudy and Dontavian Wicks available. It's hard to not think about a reunion with Wicks. Forgot to see how much his ratings have fallen, but I think he's certainly good enough to still be on our team. Although maybe we give Reuben Ross more of a chance this year. And then we're going to sign a veteran linebacker. This is Damarian Overshone, former Dallas Cowboy, who I think has enough run-stopping skill and plenty of athleticism to step in as linebacker number 3. Someone tell the Bills that we have some players available here that might be able to help them out. We're going to sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson now at safety, and he is going to be a veteran for us that can provide valuable mentorship to our young safeties. And finally, I have interest here in a running back. This is Kevin Green. So a lot of power backs in Madden, they're extremely one-dimensional. But Kevin Green, he has 90 speed, good for a power back, breaks tackles, all that power back stuff. But he also has 71 catching. I feel like he's just a good, RB3, emergency starter. If somebody goes down, he can fill in. And here is our team now that the dust has settled in the offseason. We have brought in 3 brand new starters along the offensive line, 2 veterans with superstar development, and a new rookie to hopefully give us a higher level of play. Our playmakers haven't changed much. I would like to see Reuben Ross have the first crack at the wide receiver 3 job. We saw him make a few plays down the stretch last year, and if he isn't good enough, then we can go to Dontavian Wicks, as Wicks is still better in a lot of areas. The defense does see the departure of series mainstays Josh Hines-Allen and Devin Lloyd. Enter Damarian Overshone, Bryce Weaver at safety with the departure of Sergio Baxter, and we no longer have the deepest defensive line in football. But we still have one of the best starting 4s, as we do get Joseph Bowen back from the injury that kept him out of the Super Bowl. He could be the new face of this team, and the next player that ends up signing a mega deal. When his contract ultimately comes around, it is going to be astronomical, and he's earned it. All that, and I've kept us $4.5 million under the cap. I will call that a successful day. What did you think of the offseason? Do you like the moves that I made and the focuses I had for this year? And does this put us in a position to compete again for a championship again this season? I almost said World Series. We're trying to win the Super Bowl again with Chuck Johnson, this core, and one of the most fun teams I've constructed in quite some time. I'll leave you on this final note as we check out our schedule. Who do we take on this year? Well, it's the Saints in the opener, out-of-conference opponent, not the most exciting option. We'll get to face the Bills secondary in Week 4. We get the Panthers Week 3. And do we face the Dolphins? Doesn't appear we do. We do have a conference and division game to close the year. We will face Jalen Hurts now and the Chiefs, but not Mahomes and the Patriots. That certainly would have been a fun matchup. As long as you guys are still excited for more Jaguars franchise, I will continue to post this series. Not once every 8 days or whatever it's been, but yeah, I will be doing a lot of my Marlins franchise, but still continuing on here with the Jaguars franchise. And we'll get into year 7 next time and see if these moves were the right ones for us. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you when the Jaguars franchise continues. Take care.